Sure.
Hopefully it's not off topic or, premature, but in some of the interviews that I've been having with people who like work for a company, for example, if I like spoke to someone who has a role at Apple, and I would like to use in my story the fact that they work for Apple. And so what I've been saying is, obviously I'll come back to you if I'm going to use anything and make sure you're comfortable with that. But I guess any guidance for how we should be handling that if that's coming up?
No, I think it's a great question. So I'll sort of answer the question maybe more broadly a little bit about how you might sort of answer this even in a broader way. So the process, again, sort of thinking about the next stages and steps ahead is what I usually urge people to do is, again, do whatever you can to get an interview with someone and get content from them that's valuable to you, right? So whatever it is with this person, if they say, hey, listen, like, I'll do an interview, but you can't use my company, or I'll do an interview, like, I don't know where this is going to go yet, but just do whatever you can to get the interview. The reason is like, there's options that you have once you have the interview. Now, many of the companies will need to get approval or won't be able to include the name on it in that sort of way. But what you'll do, kind of once you submit your first draft of this manuscript, is you'll have a phase that's called your advanced reader phase. And at that point, one of that thing will be to sort of write it up as openly as you can, based on the best way possible, and give it to them to approve it, or sort of, again, not to just approve it, but to change things that they want. So my advice to you is when you interview someone, I wouldn't get wrapped around the axle yet too much about how exactly you're going to reference them and those sorts of things. Again, you could tell them, listen, I will make sure you have a copy of this one, or I'll use this on background. But there's a lot of ways as we move forward to whether to include them to sort of say, my friend, I interviewed Jane Smith. Jane Smith works at one of the big 4 technology companies currently. Now, you could probably back your way into who it is, but like in that way you might do it that way. Or it may be something that she gets approval for, or you may just have Jane Smith, who's a lifelong technologist in that way. So there's different ways you could do it, but I would say the first pass of it is write it the best way that you can with the sort of affiliations that you want, and then give it to them for feedback and sort of have them come back to you with changes in it. Make sense?
That's helpful.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Other questions from anyone? All right, so I guess at this point, my advice more than anything is keep interviewing, keep writing, and use your editor to map out your plan. So hopefully you'll have a call with your editor this week, and when you do, my advice is, again, sort of like sit down with them and talk through what you've done thus far, and again, kind of map out how are you going to get from where you are today into a place where by the end of the semester, you've got a bunch of words of content that you're excited about. Now, one of the things you'll find is that like this process for each of you, particularly being in a school setting, it will probably sort of crescendo a bit during finals is a good way to say it, right? You'll just see that like you'll chip away at it, and then again, as things get closer to finals, you'll have it. You won't need to turn in anything to me until the very last day of finals, and so you got plenty of time. So crescendo at your own, ways and shape or form, but share with your editors again kind of what the targets are so they can map out a plan with you guys. All right?